Сейчас будет долгая загрузка. Сейчас у нас не осталось. Ежедневные задания. Точнее, события. Телепортируемся к и бежим. Недавно в Гильдии из качества приключений поступил нам свидетельств очевидцев о Георгии Шапов. Изначально Георгий Шапов были только в древних книгах, никому не известно, почему они вдруг появились теперь. Они во многом показывают детеныши Георгия Шапов, но их агрессивный нрав и разрушительная мощь делает их значительно опаснее. В последнее время многие идут в глухие места, чтобы не пускать фонари или появляться видом. Если кто-нибудь столкнется с Георгием, последствия будут плачевными. Сейчас в обновлении не фонари идут, как эти бронепольские фонари. Просто начинается обновление. Это мое. Сейчас есть приключения, или домой. Зачем нам очень будет. Твоя активная часть анкете, я считаю, что с этим правильно справишься только ты, но все-таки дело срочное, нужно. Спасибо, что согласился. Во-первых, можно изучить следы Георгия Шапов, найти их самих. Думаю, с системой экспедиции ты уже знаком, а я организовала улики. Отлики о Георгии Шапов подобные образом. Время ждет, поэтому давай их рассматриваем. И теперь мы отправляем. Сейчас я кое-что доделаю. Надо забрать экспедицию. Отсюда забрать, получить материалы, чтобы отправить новую экспедицию и шапку. А теперь можно можем отправить сюда. Подтяжку друга не буду за. Сюда отправим. Через 7 часов вот через 11.
Add Astra.
Добавим простую экспедицию. Мне нужна Мора. Мы ее поставим на 15 часов. Не сможем в экспедиции. Поставим ее. Персонажа сюда поставим и выберем еще одного. Янь поставим сюда. Вот так. А теперь по ежедневному получить 32 уровень пропуска. Необычный боевой пропуск странника, поэтому только минимум. И приступаем к ежедневным заданиям. Их всего 4. И растущая угроза. Изложим цель, открываем карту. И сюда. Потом выполним вот эти задания для дерева. Сначала ежедневные.
Body and mind.
Идем к Богу. Харрис. Вот мы перед переключением подкрепиться. О чем ты, Харрис? А я о том, что Юися перед вылазкой в город стоит поесть горячей. Она решила собрать для очередной вылазки в город. Но сперва она хочет в одиночку разбить свой лагерь в горах лагерь, изучить обстановку, разработать план. И наблюдательный лагерь так далеко отсюда, и доставить припасы будет несложно. Драконий хребет место сурово, и я подумал, что горячая еда передала в Юися. Но сам не отправиться в город не отважишься. Если тебя не затруднить, доставь Юися сливочное рагу, ладно? Не вопрос. Уважайте, спасибо. Рагу с жари, доставь его Юися, пока она не остыла. Если хочет что-нибудь случиться, или придется снять припасы, возвращать ко мне танцы свежей порцию. Мы туда телепортируемся. Если я не ошибаюсь, нам сюда. Где-то она здесь. А вот и вся. с горячей дымом точно дать не буду. Лучше бежать вперед и решить половину. Могу оценить обстановку и тут же вернусь в базовый лагерь, пока не буду. Ладно, ничего не стану думать. Следующее время интересно не это тебе захватит. Ну, конечно. Задание на время. Пойдем рушим башню. Теперь нам сюда.
Body and mind. Ring cutter. Huh? To ashes. No, my sword. Everybody stand.
So sorry. Dodge this.
Let me weave you a verse. Back off! No, my sword!
Dodge this.
Вы издеваетесь? Вы издеваетесь? Вот серьезно, почему именно сейчас у меня поднялся уровень? Я теперь что? Вот вы серьезно?
Back off!
Как вы? Вот как? Как вы? Мне просто нет слов. Сейчас скроем вас и добавим персонажа. Снайпера. Нет, он заметил. О, это просто конец. 5-й уровень мира. Мне сейчас и так моры не хватает на прокачку персонажей, так еще. Блин.
Need my help?
Body and mind. Eyes on me!
66-й уровень! Обычно новичок, пипец. Да, очень сейчас будет напряжно. Задания элемент открыты, которые буду постепенно проходить. Но сейчас мы зайдем сюда и вернем обратно моего Керрию, которого я не могу заменять постоянно.
Oh, I'm looking for.
Стрелка.
Day's work. Nothing like it.
Это полная катастрофа. Полная катастрофа. Сейчас посмотрим, как я вывезу другие задания. Вот сейчас проверим на них.
Ring cutter. Rain outlines your fate.
Очень мало. Хорошо, хоть сейчас у меня. Хотя бы может себя сам включить. Лагерь. ключу. И, видимо, в этом задании мы пойдем разговаривать с ними.
Body and mind.
Вот мы снова встретились. Помнишь или нет? Ты точно должен помнить, как мы подрались с Хиричуром. И смотри на меня так, чтобы выучить язык, необходима постоянная практика. Не переживайте. Усилия не прошли напрасно. Разговор Хиричурского стал намного лучше. Ну и о чем говорила сейчас, пойдем разговаривать с Хиричуром. Мне еще нужно работать на своем письменном Хиричурском. После 10 исследований я сочинила целый цикл стихов на Хиричурском. Верно, пойдем читать. Я уже знаю, где искать слушателей. Хиричур выглядит дружелюбнее остальных. Просто прочитаю выделенные строки. Спасибо тебе, возвращайся поскорее. Если что-то пойдет не по плану, то ты сможешь решить эту проблему. Ну да, если что-то пойдет не по плану, мне придется их покалечить.
Body and mind.
А. Как он такие красавчики. Хиричур. Он проводит чуть-чуть на мной хитрый. Выглядит много по-другому. Давай скорее уже почитаем стихи. С какой строчки начнем? Честно. Пойдем это. Кажется, он никак не отреагировал. Может быть, он просто необщительный. Если понимаете, что он хочет сказать своим жестом. Кажется, все прошло неплохо. Ну да, танцует, ну чего, нормально. Отлично, мне все понравилось. Прочитай следующее стихотворение. Бывает. О, ну и другой пошел в пляс. Детство нечто английское. Все прошло неплохо, похоже было. Решила, все понравилось. Прочитай стихотворение. Неужели мне настолько понравилось? Не думаю, что Белла могла писать такие хорошие стихи на Хиричурском. Понял, смотри, почему я атакую. Ну да.
Rain outlines your fate. Witness the power of the rock. Everybody stand back!
Ну давай, уноси.
Oh, so sorry.
Back off! To ashes!
И последний.
Body and mind. Back off!
Ну, короче, у нас еще не вышло. Это первое задание, где Хиричур напали на меня обратно. И как они ответили, произошло недопонимание. Я точно следовала руку выбили, а они тоже оказались неверными. Мне очень жаль, оказывается, я не настолько хорошо знаю язык, как думала. Если привлек большое усилие к изучению языка, я не могу положить фамилию масок. Девочка шла к успеху, пока я что-то выбрала не то. Ладно, приступим к следующему. Открываем карту.
Now this.
И. Ищем. Ну сюда. Ладно, телепортируемся. Статуя пункта. И придется бежать.
Body and mind.
Точки, потому что это понадобится. И повышение уровня персонажа.
Witness the power of the rock. Rain outlines your fate. Time to act.
Cool it.
Больше уровня плохо отхил взял. Ну ладно.
Body and mind.
Нужно артефакты еще учить. Но это чуть позже.
Off we go! Off we go! Off we go! I'm going in! Let's light it up! To ashes! I'm going in! Let's light it up!
Божечки. Сейчас давайте еще поменять одного из персонажей. Прости, Синтю, но я возьму своего обратно.
There's still a long road ahead.
И сделаем резонанс стихии.
Windblade!
Сколько у меня здесь море? Так. Все растет здесь. Вы меня просто обокрали все. Особенно ты. Это только. Пока что с тебя улучшить. Книжку нужно. Сходим потом подземелье. И, конечно же, закроем задание легенд. Археолог. С Чудли или Тарталью поиграть. Коньки. Альбедо. Давайте откроем Альбедо. Соберем полученное. И будем играть с Альбедо. Легендарный алхимик. Так, нам сюда. Зайдем в гильдию приключений, соберем награды. И пойдем искать миссию с Альбедо.
Add astro.
Звездам бездны, награды приключения. 5 уровень мира. Это просто печально, да.
Add astro.
Собираем за выполненное задание. И идем в колонию. И попутно зайдем сюда. Чем? Отпуск энергии.
The neighboring nation of Liyue has the most prosperous commercial port in all of Tibet.
Huh. Looks like Timaeus isn't here today.
Customers?
Oh, pardon me. Are you looking for— No. Just strange for him to not be around. Paimon always sees him standing here.
I see. He was called away by Albedo a little while ago. I was called over to— I'm Sucrose, Albedo's assistant. If you have any alchemy-related queries, you could always ask me. I do my best to help.
Видимо, мой персонаж хочет потроллить ее бедненькую. Ну, возьмем более это.
Do I look nervous? My apologies. I don't get out too often. I'm usually in the laboratory where there aren't many others to talk to. If you need any help, just call my name. If not, I'll be reading a book.
Thanks. No worries. We're all clued up on the basics of alchemy, aren't we?
Ну да.
Hey, aren't you the legendary traveler? The one who repelled Storm Terror?
Могу дойти в том же без очереди. Не, я не буду таким наглым. Ну, не
I've heard so many stories about you. Always wanted an opportunity to research you up close.
Изучить тебя подробнее, как будто подопытный кролик.
What do you mean, research?
Вот именно поэтому права.
Sorry, don't mind me. What am I saying? Still, you'd definitely be able to help Albedo. It is you.
There's that name again, Albedo. Is he also an alchemist in Mondstadt?
Apologies. I never introduced him. Albedo is the Knights of Favonia's chief alchemist. He's also Timaeus and my teacher.
But Paimon's only ever seen Timaeus teaching alchemy. So that means Albedo is a teacher?
Yes, he's dedicated himself to investigating the truth of this world, and has made many an important breakthrough. We often get alchemists coming to Mondstadt from all over Teyvat, seeking his help. They say that the subtlest of guidance from Mr. Albedo helps them to solve the most unfathomable of problems.
Wow! Paimon didn't know he was such a big deal.
Летающая консерва.
Still, it seems that he's encountered a problem in his research recently. Every time I see him, he has a concerned look on his face. I'm sure that Albedo would love to hear about your incredible exploits. I know it would bring him lots of new inspiration. Albedo is a true gentleman. He'll be sure to pay you back in equal measure for helping him out.
Ну ладно, за награду можно.
Paimon doesn't need any help in that department. But if Albedo wants to pay Paimon back for helping him, a few more might settle the score.
Наконец-таки.
Albedo and Timaeus will be conducting research in the mountains right now. I'd love to take you both to see him, but somebody has to attend to the store. I'm afraid you'll have to go to the entrance to the pass and look for him by yourselves. Look out for a refined gentleman with the presence of a true scholar. And... sorry. That's the best I can do. You'll have to do your best.
Hey, stop worrying.
Значит, там теперь будешь искать.
Sucrose is a whole lot less nervous once she gets talking about alchemy and
The
research,
neighboring
huh?
nation of Liyue
Is that what all
offers
researchers
commercial
are
port
like?
in all of Teyvat.
Anyway, let's go and look
take
for
a look.
Albedo.
There will
Сначала
definitely
надо
be something.
поесть. Согревающего. Ладно, без него справимся. Сначала я сделала рыбу, потому что я больше не потерялась. И начинаю что? Нам сюда. Срежем так.
Sister Rosaria! So here you are! Choir practice is about to...
I've told you already, I don't go in for that kind of thing. I've got more important matters to attend to.
Oh, but this event has commemorative significance. The church hopes that all sisters will be present.
Hopes? That's odd, 'cause I don't recall a fulfill the hopes of others clause in my job description.
I mean,
But what? You're the event organizer, aren't you? Do you not find it the least bit odd?
what do you mean?
This far out from Mondstadt at this hour? Even if you set out right now, I'll wager you'd still miss the opening ceremony. Who knows? Maybe this is someone's grand...
Huh? Well, that can't be.
Evidence decides what people are like, not your feelings. Maybe you're a little too... Don't fret. Nobody's gonna blame you if you go back empty-handed. I can't imagine anyone else was delusional enough to think I was gonna show up. But if you dally any longer, you really won't make it.
You're right. It's a very important commemorative event. If I'm late, then... right, I've gotta get going.
Seems like that nun's an expert in making people believe anything she wants.
I thought I heard something. Who are you and why are you eavesdropping?
We'd better watch out. She seems like a dangerous villain. Or
Oh, really? I'm a member of the long-standing Favonius Church. You're an eavesdropping pixie from who knows where. And you think I'm the trick?
wait, she heard that? Paimon was whispering so quiet.
And as for this outlander you seem to be following... So it's the honorary knight that saved us from storm terror. Well then, given your status, I won't press you on your reasons for eavesdropping. Otherwise, depending on your answer, I could have arrested you on the spot.
What? Do the nuns of Mondstadt have the authority to...
We can't go turning a blind eye to hidden dangers, can we? Why shouldn't sisters have a sense of justice?
That doesn't sound right. But Paimon can't think of a good comeback.
Let's talk about you. What are you doing in the mountains? If it's him you're after, I made a point of noting his tracks. Many people have made their way up after the snowstorm. Let's hope they're still there.
So, are you also looking for him?
No, this is just a professional habit of mine. I sensed elemental traces in these tracks. Never hurts to be vigilant. I couldn't care what you think. Come on then. I'd like to see what he's up to anyway.
Rosaria said there were elemental traces in the tracks. They should show up pretty clearly with elemental sight.
Надо быстрее добраться до костра.
You know, little pixie, your ability to appear and disappear at will is very interesting.
Yeah?
After committing a crime, you'd be able to leave the scene without a trace.
Нет, не валим
You're
отсюда.
so suspicious. Why is Paimon a criminal in your example?
Back off!
Ой, мать. Куда я приехала?
Crew, that sail for home.
Мы с вами пока поджог куда-нибудь.
It's getting colder and colder. Rosaria, aren't you freezing?
Me? I'm all right. I got used to operating in adverse conditions a long time ago.
Seems like there's more to being a nun in the Favonius Church than Paimon realized.
Adventure time!
Что он пошел? Куда-то сюда вниз.
Is that Albedo? Why would he hang around a place like this?
The word on the street is he loves sketching. He'll hang around anywhere for a good landscape. The views and scenery here are pretty good. Sketches everywhere you look.
But can't he see those hilly churros? Isn't he in danger?
Ну все.
Uh-oh. Looks like we startled them. Enough talk. Let's take them out of the picture first.
Cool it! Take this! Freeze!
Используем эту штуку.
Dodge this!
Who are you? Why did you alarm them? Thank the gods I'd already completed my sketch. Would have been ashamed to leave these particular hilly churls unfinished.
What's up with sketching hilly churls? What makes them so interesting?
I'm afraid the answer isn't easy to explain. If you'd like to have a look at my sketch, it may give you a clue.
Wow! Look at the detail! But some of it seems to have been done in a hurry.
You can find these hilly churls anywhere. Quite boring, in fact. Not worth closer inspection. But take a look at this specimen. The build, the coat, and there's a distinct force at work here. In the cyclical lives of such primitive communities, such unique attributes are an indication of evolution at work. Evolution, the transition from nothing into existence, from the known to the
Hold your horses. Something tells me we're in for a thesis and I haven't got the stamina. We found your man. I'm headed back.
What? Don't you have any questions for him? What a weird...
So Sister Rosaria brought you. Surprising. And I didn't have time to thank her. But back to the point. From her words, it seems that you were looking for me?
We met a girl in Mondstadt, Sucrose. She said you were stuck with your research.
I see. So Sucrose sent you here. Then, if I'm not mistaken, you must be the honorary knight. You've got the whole of Mondstadt. I've heard a bit of everything. Your actions during Storm Terror's attack, your elemental control, and quite a few other mysterious things. I'll skip to the conclusion. There's only one possibility after all. You came from afar. From another world, correct? Excellent. If I could procure your assistance, I think my research would benefit enormously. Forgive me. This must be confusing. Where should I begin?
Whoa, you want to start with that?
You're right. Giving a demonstration, for example, awakening life. Breathing new life into fallen leaves.
Химик.
You can do that?
However, I have a particular seed in my possession. The method I'm talking about has produced no It's like you, in that it hails from another world. helping it to grow, to bloom. That's the problem my research is up against.
Ну да.
That's where I need your assistance.
Well, if you're struggling to figure it out, Paimon's not sure we're gonna be much assistance.
I beg to differ. I'm unable to comprehend the intricacies of life outside of the known world, but you're not from the known world. By observing and researching you, I may just be able to find a way to get the seed to sprout.
Shall we just get out of here? This sounds a little freaky.
It's possible, but I will do everything in my control to ensure your safety.
Ну да, ну да.
Time for a change of surroundings. We should be going. There's research to do.
Подопытный кролик. И как не стыдно тебе, пацан?
Albedo and that traveler seem to have hit it off. Takes a weirdo to know one, I guess. I wonder, does this constitute a risk to Mondstadt?
Опять телепортируем. Быстрее все было, телепортируемся сюда. И вернем к жизни мою Бэйдоу.
Adventure time!
Paimon has a question. After the seed sprouts,
I don't know, but I feel the importance will lie in the method, not the endpoint. Using alchemy to awaken otherworldly life into that would constitute a big leap in my understanding of the essence of life. After awakening, even creation may be possible. Still a little difficult to understand.
No, Paimon's got a brain. But what's the seed gonna become? Isn't that more interesting than whatever it was you were saying?
Well, if it turns out to be a delicious fruit, dinner's on me.
Yay! Paimon's holding you to it.
Пойду так покушать.
Well, let's just say I, occasionally have to look after a child. Another lengthy explanation, I'm afraid. I suppose it's one of the few. The subject of my first research was the elements. In this world, manipulating the elements requires a vision. Though I can't see anything resembling one on your person, how you're able to freely manipulate elemental power is something I'd like to ascertain. I've got a few questions. Firstly, do you have any extra organs? A second heart? A fourth stomach? Things of that nature. Fascinating. And this floating child is connected to your body in some way?
What a stupid question. Can't you see the gap between us? And another thing, it's Paimon, not floating child.
Ай,
I was merely considering the possibility that you were an external organ. Perhaps there is some invisible force connecting you. Oh, that rules out that possibility. I wonder, did Paimon but that would mean that Paimon's elemental power would be enough to break through a mountain rock at least 10 meters thick, or cause the waterfall south of Springville to flow backwards. Now,
Hey, how would you know anyway?
in that case, it would appear that there's no obvious difference between the composition of your body and that. Given that there's clearly a discrepancy in the research, it seems that only experimentation will yield the answers. Firstly, this mysterious elemental power. I'd like to examine it. Let me lure a few slimes to the area. Perhaps you'd be able to defeat them, using whatever method.
Doesn't seem very science.
Direct and clear observation are imperative to a good experiment. This is just a simple extra. Naturally, if you require a greater challenge, we could bring in 6 Oceanids.
нет, с океанидом нет, нет, ни в коем
Slimes.
случае.
Slimes are fine.
Well, prepare yourself. The slimes will be here any moment.
Don't push me.
Everybody stand back!
Don't get frostbite.
Let's light it up!
Несколько слаймов. Несколько. Просто.
Adventure time! Adventure time! Power that ended Haishan!
Dodge this.
I'm going in!
With the wind. Wind blade.
Let's light it up! Let's light it up! Let's light it up! Everybody stand back! Back at ya!
With the wind.
Great work. Did you feel anything out of the ordinary? If you're injured, I have a few emergency potions ready. Excellent. According to my observations, the manifestation of the external elemental flow is as expected. Elemental reactions are normal. There's nothing out of the ordinary. Now that we know that the external flow is manifesting normally, let's test the internal flow.
Internal flow?
It's very simple. I can use alchemy to create a potion that will extract elemental power. If the elemental power is stored or accumulated physically within your body, this potion may elicit an elemental reaction.
Sounds kinda terrifying.
Don't worry. In the normal course of events, you'd feel some temporary queasiness. No bodily injury.
And in the abnormal course of events?
If anything unexpected occurs, I've made the necessary preparations. Try not to worry. Well, it's not that there aren't any risks involved, but if there is anything blocking your elemental flow, we'll be able to locate it with this test. Just a warning. If an internal elemental reaction occurs for any other reason, that's a bad sign. Yes, that's an excellent way to think about it. Before we get started, the potion we'll use for the test is missing a catalyst. We'll need to find it. It's a type of ore known as star silver, but unfortunately not all of it is suitable. I'll take you to my campsite. We can gather some star silver ore on the way. I'll point out any all going to plan. We should be able to begin concocting the potion when we get to the campsite.
Paimon's still got a few safety concerns. Let's keep our eyes open.
Adventure time!
Here. Should do for catalyst purposes. This one. Usable with a bit of polish. What luck. This should be enough. My campsite is just up ahead. I'll lead the way. This is my campsite. I've added the materials we collected to the concoction. While we are waiting, have a look over here.
Блин. Подопытный кролик.
My assistant Timaeus here is helping me with my research. I'm guessing you may have...
Hello! I've just gotten hold of the data from your experiment. The report is already up on the board there.
Whoa! Look at all the data! You got all these results from one slime bag?
I wouldn't call them results, inferences, and a few daring guesses perhaps. I think the most rational direction would be to expound on the phylogenetic relationship between this traveler and the slimes. Consider. You don't have a vision, but you can manipulate elemental energy. The slimes don't have... Following this line of thought, I'm sure we'll be able to establish a basis in fact.
Разве он похож на слайма? Он не похож на слайма.
Not bad for a point of entry. But strictly speaking, slimes are elemental life forms. In other words, beings a cryoregis vine or even a whopperflower might be a better analogy. But tracing back the phylogenetic relationships between plants and animals, you might have to trace back to the world's origins. In that sense, things might get difficult, don't you think?
Yes, sir. That sounds correct.
After all, we've got our primary data already. If it turned out that he did have a phylogenetic relationship with this world... Now that real...
Ah, it would. Apologies. I was so excited to get the data. I'll slow down. Speaking of data, to complete our research, we'll need some more. I'll be conducting analysis here for the time being. If you're keen for an update, just come and...
Great, I'll leave you to it. Looks like the potion's ready. I'll try a little first. In line with my expectations. Ready to drink. Remember to keep calm at all times, and breathe deeply if you feel unwell.
И нам сейчас эту жижу выпить. Альбедо, ты просто издеваешься над нами. Где эта жижа? А ее здесь нет? Так. Значит, вот применить. Почему он жжёт?
Tasty? You've got a funny look on your face. You said you tried some already. You sure it was ready? What happened to him?
Oh, this was the result I was expecting. And a very positive one at that. This potion channels elemental power into the body. Under normal circumstances, but if the internal elemental flow is unimpeded, you'll only experience momentary discomfort. Once the flow is complete, there won't be any other...
So you knew you'd be sick and still drank some?
It was my own concoction, of course. Only natural for me to be the guinea pig. But of course, you're my assistant. By all sense and reason, it would be wrong of me to place that risk onto you. In conclusion, I'd say we have our conclusion. As far as elemental energy is concerned, you're no different from anyone else in this world.
Aw, Paimon wanted something cooler to happen.
Then again, better an ordinary result than a peculiar result. Peculiar results have a tendency to be of the undesirable variety. The good thing about ordinary is that everything is an object of reference, and everyone understands you. People are the same. They can understand, empathize, encourage, and support when you're sick. A doctor can diagnose you because they are you. When something goes wrong, you can ask people who've made the same mistake for their experience because you are them. But a peculiar person, they don't have much recourse for the things we take for granted. The essence of their life, for example. A human can't understand the life of a pyroregisvine or an eye of the storm. Have I explained it clearly enough? To sum up, this has been a positive outcome. Going forward, you can use your Timaeus. The results of the new experiment are out. If you could see to collating them.
Just a moment, sir. I'll handle it. You gave me a lot to consider. Really stretched my limits. I'm thinking a lot clearer now. Having you down as an animal wasn't very precise of me, but starting with the premise of an elemental life form, now that was...
Not bad. I think it's an interesting line of inquiry. Whatever the truth of the matter, I'd like your research at the fore as opposed to my judgment.
You can count on me, sir. I'll extract a result satisfactory to all.
Is he trying to join the Knights? He's starting to sound like a what Paimon meant to say was, that's the spirit! Mr. Albedo...
Before we can proceed with our research, I need to... If you're interested, why not have a look around? It may help to pass the time.
На эту гору мы уже пошли. Что тут осматривать? О, какой черт нарисован. Пенчура. Пенчура. Шишка. Стол, технический стол, у меня несколько путей интересует. Не пожалуйста, помочь нам снять мир. Ничего, если вот так вот или нет. Тестируется, конечно, результат ничего не понятно. По крайней мере, ясно, что эксперимент развлекается.
An elemental life form from another world. As soon as we have strong evidence, this may end up subverting a lot of alchemical theory. Albedo's research will see huge progress.
Что мне еще тут учить можно?
Here comes Albedo! Let's go see him!
А теперь нам надо найти Альбедо. И где он? А, вот он.
I'm back. Did you see anything interesting? Not to worry. They're all for alchemical purposes. Well, on with the research. There may be significant differences between different worlds. Take Tevat, for example. Here, those with visions can manipulate the elements. But worlds may well exist where only one person is able to do so. Or even everyone. So, leaving elements to one side. Do you possess any... I think answering this question calls for the same methodology as last time. In other words, time for the next experiment. No. You shan't be required to exert quite so much effort. Now, see this pillar here? Use your willpower to try and break it.
Сломать силой.
That was your best effort?
What's with the disappointment? Isn't that, like, impossible?
Have you tried using your elemental power with food? I don't mean for cooking as such. Rather, channeling your power into the ingredient. I'm curious to see how the taste and texture respond. It may even help with proliferation. I suppose I have a curiosity for things that others find surprising. Anyway, why don't you cook us up a sunshine sprat?
Cooking? Paimon was looking forward to more mad scientist stuff.
Not only is this recipe a staple for me, It's also worth experimenting with and highly nutritious.
Paimon bets you're just hungry. That does sound yummy, though. Okay, Paimon approves. Good buddies are always on the same...
I'll leave you to it then. Looking forward to the results. If there's anything left over, maybe Timaeus can...
Paimon doesn't think we'll have that problem. How are we gonna channel elemental power into the food? Maybe try the willpower thing again.
Ингредиенты. Солнечная рыба. И сейчас нам придется солнечную рыбу. Так, найти. У нас все есть, только 3 рыбы надо.
Where does he get these ideas from anyway?
Слетаем в Лёй. Сюда.
Let's just do it the old-fashioned way.
Возьмем здесь рыбу. Возьмем 6 штук. И теперь мы можем ходить обратно. Готовить солнечную рыбу.
That was fast. Look.
Конечно, великолепно.
An average outcome experimentally, but you've really brought out the flavor. As far as the proliferation hypothesis is concerned, we've come up short. Seems like food presents the same headaches in your world as it does ours. Unless... could it be that the natural laws of this...
We just didn't know how to channel elemental power into the food. It's a little more complicated than adding...
Not to worry. At least we put some food to good use. No need to feel disheartened. And here's your portion. Enjoy. I can box it up if you like.
Woohoo! Thanks! Glad you were paying attention.
I can tell that you're good friends. Paimon was keeping an eye on you and your safety during the whole experiment. Not that Paimon would have been able to do much if things had gone wrong. But anyway.
Hey! You were being nice a second ago! But you do have tasty recipes, so Paimon forgives you. And you're right, we are good friends. You have good friends too, right? Good students?
Yes. I'm fortunate too, I suppose. Anyway, moving on to the next experiment. There are all manner of alchemical items here. Keeping them in their proper place is a challenge at the best of times. A while ago, I had the misfortune of... I managed to retrieve the majority, but 2 vials have been evading me. Animal crystal fly elemental extract and electrohypostasis...
Paimon's barely finished eating and you want us to go get...
Don't worry if you can't locate them. I was planning to replace them anyway. Though finding them would save me the hassle. If you had, say, a superpower, like night vision or vibratory sensing, Lost property would be a thing of... I must have dropped them somewhere in the area where you were looking just now.
So, guess we'd better take a look. Oh yeah! You could use... This must be electrohypostasis powder! The extract of an animo crystal fly can only be animo element...
Goodness, you managed to find them. I'm wondering, this elemental site...
Yep, guess it does sort of count as a...
Unfortunately, though elemental sight is seldom seen, only a never-before-seen otherworldly power would be of benefit.
You mean, we fit...
Don't be disheartened. This falls entirely within my expectations. Besides, getting these items back, I have to commend your deduction that the items would contain elemental traces. Right then. Up until now, our research has focused on your otherworldly identity. Our research on your identity as one of us is just beginning. In essence, the differences between humans are reflected in our intellectual and physical. Looking out from where we're standing, can you see what Sucrose is doing? And if you jump from here and landed on that cliff, the one over there, so what about if you planted a single blow on the mountain face here, and it burst into a million fragments? Then could you see her? Then I shouldn't get too excited. Still, we'll gain a more thorough understanding. I know of a location that will be perfect for a physical test. Please, follow me.
Still in one piece! Good thing the vial's so strong!
Да. Только нам сейчас в гору никуда не двигаться. Согреемся, потому что у меня
You want us to jump?
Not necessarily. Not if you know of a better method, that is. Whichever method you choose, the experiment will end when you reach the opposite shore of the lake. I will factor the time expended and your top speed into my comparative analysis.
The opposite side of the lake. So, we're gonna be swimming?
Without limitations, we complete tasks intuitively, using the method that seems most rational to us. Some of us would be unable to stand the icy waters. Others might find the whole thing. No matter what choice you make, it's all a part of the experiment. For me, then if you would, please, I eagerly await the results.
Wait a minute! While we're busy testing, what exactly are you gonna be doing?
Me? Recording data, responding to risks, providing, emotional support.
So if we do decide to go swimming, you gonna dive in with us?
No. Unless you're thinking of conducting competitive research?
Oh! Forget Paimon said anything.
сначала согрейся.
Great work. I've never seen a performance quite like your reputation precedes you, traveler. The data shows that you're easily outperforming the average citizen in Mondstadt.
But you followed us the whole way without breaking a sweat!
Me? Actually, I used alchemy. If it turns out that the natural laws of Tavad do not affect you, I should be able to make various inferences about the otherworldly civilization you belong to. If the natural laws of Tavad do affect you, then I shall be able to make inferences into the kind of evolution that would occur under the absence, the innumerable possibilities that this could present, the captivating insights.
But how does this help your research?
You've helped me to unravel many of the problems that were holding it back. When we return to the campsite, I should be able to show you something interesting. I may be about to make some analogies between you and a few unusual specimens. Gold, petrified trees, a sun 8 times the size of... The essence of the investigative process is enthralling, but I'm willing to pour all my energy into research, and yet specimens are finite. As the unknown transitions into the realm of scientific understanding, all these things that start out as objects of fascination end up possessing the prosaic mundanity of a sunsetia or a sweet flower.
Oh, so that's why you wanted to sketch those hilly trails? Because you got to see something new?
Precisely. To quote my exact words from earlier, these creatures are, for the most part, quite boring.
So after all these experiments, are we gonna be, like, boring to you? Like,
Of course not. You have been of great assistance to me, and I will remember this for now. Before we head back to the campsite, there's one more experiment. Follow me. There are some other ruins nearby.
Окей. Нифига себе, следуй за тобой. Ну ты вообще... Руины, блин. Руины. Давай еще дальше залез. Сейчас нам надо мясо.
Windblade!
I imagine you must have encountered more than a few conundrums during your travels. I'd like to observe your intelligence by means of a practical test of your... I'd like you to explore these ruins and return with your finding. There are 2 puzzles located at the far ends of the ruins. As with the physical test, there are no restrictions. Everything you do... A tried and tested adventurer, I see. So, let's see you in action. It's a complex environment, so proceed with caution. Sealy like these are a common sight in the mountains. Returning them to their rightful places is up to you.
Let's light it up! Back off! Off we go! Off we go! Let's light it up! Everybody stand back!
Вот так.
It should now be possible to activate the central mechanism. Exactly what will happen when you do is something I'm looking forward to finding out. Oh, seems that the water level has suddenly decreased. We should be able to see what's in the water now. Let's have a look.
Давай закачку.
What's this? To the best of my knowledge, these belong to a script of some kind. They can be found all over Teyvat, but there's still a lot to learn about them. And as for why they should ever have come to rest here, let me make a copy first. I'll make time to go over them in greater detail after our
Another thing for the don't understand list. Unsolvable mystery this, weird experiment that. Seems like if you want the reward, you gotta pay the price.
I've truly gained a lot from all this. Comparatively, the little reward I can offer is too small to mention. Let me return to the campsite first. By the time you get back, I may just have a fleeting miracle for you to witness.
Paimon's kinda looking forward to seeing the results of all this brain ache. Unless you can think of anything better to do, let's head back to the camp.
Not so fast. You're not leaving until I'm convinced that nothing dangerous is going on here.
You didn't leave the mountain?
I most certainly did not. And I've witnessed everything that you and Albedo. I must say, you let your guards down. Or maybe you were drawn in by his compelling-sounding hypothesis and friendly demeanor. Taking orders from a complete stranger? Drinking anonymous potions? I'd sooner believe you were tricked than that you would be so naive. Or perhaps you were colluding from the beginning.
Listen, sister, your guard's so high you can't even see over the top of it.
It doesn't matter what you think. He could be a saint for all you know. But I understand him a little better than you, Outlander. I'm only concerned with one thing. Whether his alchemy has transformed you into something more sinister.
No way! Paimon would have sensed it! And anyway, he didn't even use—
With an alchemist of his level, you wouldn't sense a thing. In any case, I'm not about to let a potential threat back into Mondstadt.
So, what are you gonna do?
I've got to hand it to you. You have your moments. If I can be sure that nothing you came into contact with is dangerous, I've investigated everything else. The only items left on the agenda—
But we don't even know what they mean.
That much is true. Not to mention, but for insurance purposes, I'd better make a copy. This is now a location of it. Now then, all things considered, which is what I was hoping. I would have been one very unhappy sister if you'd made me work overtime on your account.
Overtime?
Before we go our separate ways, Outlander, a word of advice. Don't be so quick to trust Albedo, and don't repeat the same mistakes that you did this time. You made a lot of rash decisions today.
Какая злюка.
She's gone! So, Mondstadt doesn't have many people like that. Huh. Never mind her.
Пойдем к Альберту.
You're back. Good timing. I've just about reached the... You took quite a while. Did you get held up on the way back? I wouldn't worry. Time for the results. We got a myriad of data today, and it was very difficult to finish all the research in one go. But the integral preliminary conclusion that I can offer you is... You're very much like a human.
You couldn't tell that just by looking? We spent all day working our butts off for that?
Please, I understand that this may have seemed self-evident to you, but in fact, nothing in this world should... Have you ever considered that the world of Teyvat may have a natural hostility to Outlanders? I mentioned the natural laws of this world. You're able to converse with me here without consequence, and nothing seems amiss. But the only other life form that, like you, has come here from afar is the seed that I mentioned. Under the effects of Teyvat's natural laws, it isn't even it, but after I observed you, imitating you helped to inspire my alchemy. And so...
Whoa! It looks like something's appearing!
The transition from nothing into something, from shoot to stem, and now to fruition. Is not nurturing otherworldly life also nurturing the world itself? It would seem that that's as far as we go. A transient bloom of incomparable beauty.
Paimon thought, with all our efforts, it might have bloomed forever, and it didn't even have any fruit.
Life is a manifold tapestry of free entities. Its value shouldn't derive from how long it stays with us. Even a momentary burst is precious. A short life can be well lived. A life lived efficient. So, do you understand what I meant about us conversing here arguably being a small miracle?
Things feel a little heavy. Don't be sad. You've got Albedo, Paimon really wants to be your friend.
Thank you both. Even if dispelling loneliness is not essential for life, it certainly doesn't hurt. Your help inspired me to discover the means to make a flower bloom. I mean that the time I've spent traveling with you in the mountains was a valuable journey for me. In the future, if the need arises, can I solicit your help again? Well, glad I can... I made a point throughout of telling him how ordinary the results were. But what was that sediment I saw forming at the bottom of the vial? It should not have been there. What could it mean? Those born of earth are bound by its imperfections, but those born of chalk are free of impurities. You and I are alike. both composed of a substance that has yet to be fully defined. If, one day, I lose control, destroy Mondstadt, can I rely on you to stop me?
Конечно, остановишь.